As a runner, we go through lots of shoes. When is it the right time to change them? Some shoe manufacturers tell you that you should change them every 700 kilometers. Is that real? Is it not? I wanted to discover that a little bit more. Here are some of my favorite running shoes, the Adios 5s. They've seen about 700 kilometers running. So I bought a brand new pair of them, a little bit of a different colorway, so that might be why they look a little bit newer, cleaner. So let's dive in a little deeper to find out, are old shoes just as good as new shoes? I think the best way for me to figure out the difference is to just come out in a run. So I've come out in the run in the old shoes, and we're going to do the most unscientific experiment. But yes, sometimes science is logic, but sometimes we have to go by feel. So I'm going to test out today, see how my Adios 5s, which I've done 700 kilometers in, and how they're feeling. Okay, so the best way for me to be able to do this is to get a wet bum by sitting on this icy thing. But of course, I've got a good feeling for how these old shoes are. I mean, they feel pretty good. I think it's always like that when you're just running in something. It doesn't really, you don't see any difference because you don't have something to compare against. Now, running in one shoe versus the other shoe, like on other feet, is probably a bad idea. So we've gone one step further. I brought these shoes, well, I just bought them from the rock over there. And look, we have a new set of the Adios 5s right here, just a different colorway. So I've done 7 kilometers of running with this so far. We're going to do another 7 kilometers in these and just see what the feeling is, how different they feel. Do I feel more fresh? Is it going to be the placebo effect? New shoes always make you faster. And look, they even have little gold trim on it. So that means that they're going to be really good, doesn't it? Ah, there we go, new shoes on, let's get running. Wow, straight away, I can feel the difference. And no, it's not just the color. I can really feel the difference underfoot. I'm going to continue running, try and feel a little bit more of an understanding for it, and come back with some constructive kind of comments and thoughts. So one thing that I think is really important, or like I felt from the first change, is that changing instantly whilst you're running in the middle of it, you know, no seconds, well, a few minutes to change them, you feel the difference. But I'm pretty sure, like I've done it previously, where you change your shoes like maybe the day to the next day, because you're not running with them in quick succession, maybe you don't fully feel it. So for the new shoes, I mean, they've taken a little bit of dirtying, is that such a word? But they still look pretty fresh, feel pretty new. Another 7 kilometers. So we did 7 kilometers the first round, now 7 kilometers in new shoes, and then back to these ugly, smelly looking things. One thing I'm going to say is it's a pleasure to put on nice, clean, dry shoes, but putting wet, soggy shoes back on, there's no pleasure in that. that was a nice excuse to go out for a run, and well, any day is a good day when you've got new running shoes, isn't it? A little bit of a disclaimer, well, it's not a disclaimer at all actually, really. I paid full price for these shoes. I got the new ones on sale as, well, it's probably a year-old model, 100 euros from Running Warehouse, and the Adios 5s are a shoe that I really enjoy running in. As you saw, the methodology of how I wanted to kind of get a feel for this was by going out for a run and trying different shoes on, both at the same time pretty much, and I got some good conclusions from that. One of the key benefits to be able to do it this way, that having the shoe and changing them instantaneously, taking like 1 minute to change them, was the fact that you get an instant feel for the difference. If we do something in the morning and then change it in the evening, you don't get that instantaneous different feeling, you know? So it's like the changing of the seasons. It's like when you go on holiday in the winter time and you go to fly to Tenerife or some warm place, you can instantly feel that. And that's what I did with these shoes. I wanted to get like a really instant feel so that I can really understand what is going on underneath my foot. So we started out in the original old pair of the Adios 5s. Done 700 kilometers in them, and I just love the fit and feel of them shoes. I love running in them in my easy days, some sessions. They felt good, they didn't feel bad at all. I don't know why I would want a new pair. So after 7 kilometers we stopped and we changed into the brand new ones. And boy, oh boy, I could feel it straight away, those first few steps. What I could really feel is that the foam was a little bit more elevated. It wasn't as compressed, especially in the forefoot. Now, although in this example we're running in Adidas shoes, I have run in Hoka shoes, Ultra shoes, Solomon shoes, and we do see compression within that midsole after some time. So we can kind of translate this a little bit, but you have to take it with a little bit of pinch salt also. When putting on those new shoes, I could feel that there's less compression, especially in that forefoot area. I could feel that the sole, the midsole area, was a little bit more elevated. Now that's not a bad thing. I could just feel the difference straight away as soon as I started running on them. Then naturally I switched back to the other shoes so that I could go back to running into those old and bad shoes to try and see, is there any difference going back to them that I would not have experienced going the other way around. I noticed like a key thing here, that there is the same ride, so the same kind of stride gait cycle through that shoe that I was having on both shoes. I just felt a little bit more comfortable in the new ones, and in those old ones they were just like a little bit flat. Well, it's not a pun, it's just the reality of it. The other thing worth noting is as well that it had exactly the same fit. The materials held up well. So the only real difference which I noticed was the midsole underneath the foot, and the fit was exactly the same, which helped to contribute to a good feeling in the old shoes, as well as obviously the new shoes. So in this video, I'm not really trying to advocate for you to go out and buy new shoes all the time. I'm just trying to get the experience of, you know, what the manufacturer is telling you to do versus what the reality of thing is. And as I can see from in this example for myself, that I didn't really feel a difference before, but then obviously when I had the new shoe, we could maybe think a little bit of a placebo, but I could feel a bit of a difference. Now we have to figure out, is that bad that I don't have as comfy or squishy of a ride underfoot? Not that these shoes are, you know, like high stack height and all about that cushioning. It's just that there's a noticeable difference. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a negative thing. I actually really like the firmness and the low stack height, and I think that the old shoes are still, you know, got perfectly plenty loads of life left in them. So there's a little bit of a conclusion I've come up in my mind for this experiment, old versus new shoes, is that the old shoes are perfectly fine to keep running in, but noticing there is a difference in the midsole between the old and the new one, there is something that I'd probably recommend there. So if we're doing like higher intensity where there's more impact and maybe velocity, that's going to go through you and your shoes in the end of it, because they're the ones that are going to be touching the ground. Maybe it would probably be better, especially if you don't have good running form, to have the newer shoes that can maybe help absorb a little bit of that impact and give you a little bit better extra back. So maybe the older shoes you can keep and do your easy running or, you know, middle zone running, and the other ones might be a little bit more of a session day shoe and that whilst you're transitioning. As I said, this isn't scientific in any way, and it's just my thoughts and feelings, and it's just with one brand and one pair of shoes. So I'm sure you could go out and maybe if you really enjoy one pair of shoes, you find them on sale and try and do exactly the same as I did. Did you notice a difference? Did you not? Also, I'd really like to know, how often do you change your shoes? It's not just about me. Do you wait every 600 kilometers? Do you just wait to see how they feel? So I hope you've enjoyed this little bit of experiment and video that I've done. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed already, hit the subscribe button. And most of all, enjoy your running and have a great day.